And Sydney, late in the afternoon on grand final day. Beautiful city, awarded the games just 48 hours earlier. But unfortunately for Sydney, a Sydney team couldn't win the grand final for 1993. But nevertheless, a great side has taken it out again, and that's being the Brisbane Broncos. Stadium empties out very, very quickly, and I hope somebody turns out the lights before we leave, but it's getting fairly lonely up here. In part one of our special report on the direction of rugby league, we witnessed how much the game has changed this century. Today, rugby league sits on the brink of a new era when money, greater professionalism and the prospect of conquering new frontiers pose tremendous challenges for players and administrators alike.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest.
When Tina Turner performed in 1989, the league got her on the cheap. Not so for the ads that followed. Rugby league officialdom was cashed up and growing. The only problem was making sure the players lived up to the promise of the ads. Part-timers were turning full-time professionals, and they had to be full-time trainers.
And you jump. And you go straight out.
George Daldry, going on 70, was the trainer from hell to league players through the 50s, 60s and 70s. Only a masochist turns up for a session with George underdone.
What are you trying to prove, George?
Age is no barrier. In those days they worked in factories and came to work from doing every day's work, came to training for every day's work. Different thing altogether. A lot of them don't work at all now, they're fully professional.
But even George concedes that today he'd be a soft touch.
Cooper Park was classed as a horror run, which wasn't my idea. It was their names, and guys used to get quite sick on it. But I took the last touring side away, which Fulton had, and it was just a warm-up for them. That was the difference.
The biggest difference between then and now is size. The Ford pack of 30 years ago was an average 10 kilos, around 1.5 stone, lighter than today. The accent now is on power and acceleration. So says St George conditioner Scott Campbell. Specifically, how have you worked on explosive power of the Fords?
Well, the type of weightlifting they do is quicker weightlifting, short, sharp, explosive lifts, something similar to what they do with Olympic weightlifting, doing power cleans and power presses, rather than doing the sort of weightlifting that people do to look good on the beach. They're doing the sort of weightlifting that Dean Lucan would have done, for example, a few years ago, to be quick and explosive.
In short, the ideal rugby league player should be very big and very mobile. And to earn that bottom line, Paul Harrigan is required to do this.
Harrigan, for mine, he has cemented the other front row position. Great yards by the young man.
The 10-metre rule is very, very hard. You've got to get back that extra 2 or 3 metres, and that takes a lot out of you.
Gilmeister on the end of a Harrigan corker.
Then you're expected as a forward, and particularly a front row, to take the first 1 or 2 tackles out of the set of 6.
Sending Harrigan back into the traffic.
And of course, if your team makes a break or there's a kick chase on the 5th or 6th tackle, you're expected to chase that also, and then get ready to tackle again, you know.
Oh, Gilmeister on the end of a special.
If there's no breaks in the game or no scrums, you're continually going around that circle, which definitely takes it out of you.
The question begs, can the league athletes still move up a gear? For one of the game's fanatical trainers, Wayne Pearce, in his first year as coach next year, there is a higher plane.
The area that there's more room for improvement in, I think, is the psychological component. You know, the untapped and probably uncharted frontier. That's the area that has to be really addressed, I believe, by all current coaches more than they have in the past.
No doubt the motivator that more and more moves this game is money. The earn ranges from $10,000 to packages of $250,000 and more for the elite, and the privileged want more.
Do you think that we could see $300,000, $400,000 a year?
I don't see why not. And because of the shortness of their career as well. I mean, I think you know, in the future, where the game is going, I mean, it's getting so fast, so intense. Everyone's so fit. It's become more a mental game now, and I think in the future, I mean, the career of a player is going to become even shorter and shorter.
But with big money come problems for the league. How do you stop the bidding war? The answer? a draft and salary cap. But with half the solution outlawed, we're left with the cap. And if the league's not listening, it should be.
I think there's too many cheats in the salary cap arrangements, in my opinion.
That's right.
I think they've got ways and means of getting around it. I think there's a lot of teams rotting it.
It's a bit of a sham?
Yes, I think so.
There are so many ways to negotiate around it that, it's not been, if you're asking me whether it's been an effective mechanism to spread the talent, the available talent, equally across 16 teams, no.
It's a sham for those who want to constantly say and don't understand the rules, that keep considering that a player who gets a car, a player who gets a job, and a player who might get a job to do something for his sponsor, as far as the league is concerned, that's fine. It's outside the rules.
But rugby league is still all about tribes, and tribes demand loyalty. Unless they're moving across to you, mercenaries aren't wanted, at least not until the final whistle sounds.
I've certainly had regrets this year about the amount of horse trading that's gone on mid-season, with a player committed to one club suddenly being in great demand from other clubs. I think that can create a situation amongst the fans where they sense that there's a disloyalty in the ranks, that players are just paid mercenaries going from club to club.
Lovers of this game are a sentimental bunch. As footy lights its pioneering fires, what of the Sydney clubs? They may have to band together.
I think that eventually that's what's got to happen is that, let's say South and East amalgamate and probably Balmain and whoever. And
after 26 successive defeats.
Relocating may not have worked for the AFL Swans, but it might just work for a team going the other way. Now, it's enough to make a Balmain boy blub, but you've got to consider your options. The Melbourne Tigers.
I think that if the club is going to die within its current area, it should look to keep its traditions, keep its colours, and go to a new market. You're not going to lose your traditional support from your public because your away games become your home games. And, if a team is playing within the area that it currently is now, its current supporter base, and especially if it's diminished a hell of a lot, is still going to be able to see the team.
Wherever the game is played, the potent cocktail of money and speed will determine what it looks like. The 10-metre rule makes the player go further more quickly. Off the bench, impact players are almost as important as starters. But the cost will have a say too.
In 1995, one of the three grades will drop out. And I think that will be the starting gun to another side dropping out around about maybe 1998. So what I'm saying is that down the track, simply because of economics, it'll be one club, one team, and that'll be a squad of maybe, 26 players.
Brave new world is looking at you, brave new world.
We all say we're ready for change. Those Canberra and Brisbane premierships might have been scary for some, but there may be more surprises in store. But are we ready for something really scary?
Welcome now to the ANZ Stadium for this long-awaited grand final clash between the two league giants of this new millennium, the Western Reds of Perth and the pride of New Zealand, the Auckland Warriors. Here we go then. 40 metres out from the line, he's held now. This should be the last. Long ball away, but he's through and away. Oh, it's a try.
Well, a little bit of crystal ball gazing. I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibilities, and that's the reason that they've included these sides, because these things can happen and should happen, probably.
Well, there's food for thought there, isn't there? Again, the first thing I wanted to get clear is to go to another club is not being mercenary for more money. It is a business. To me, loyalty is maybe copying a little bit less to stay where you are. But, if you're a salesman in any business whatsoever and you got offered